Have you ever wondered why India, though united, seems divided along a north-south axis? It's a curious paradox, isn't it? A nation bound by a shared history, yet seemingly fragmented by an invisible line. This divide, real or perceived, is more than a mere geographical distinction. It's a complex web of political, economic, and cultural disparities that could hamper India's global ambitions. To understand this better, we need to delve deeper into the political and economic scenarios of both regions. India's political landscape is a vivid tapestry, with the north and south presenting contrasting hues. Let's take a moment to delve into the political dynamics of these two regions. In the north, the political arena is dominated by national parties, where the Bharatiya Janata Party and Indian National Congress are key players. The politics here are often characterized by a strong central leadership style, with power often concentrated in the hands of a few. The voters in the north are known for their volatility, often swinging between different parties from one election to another, reflecting their desire for change and progress. Now let's turn our gaze to the south. The political environment here is different, with a prominence of regional parties like the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam in Tamil Nadu and the Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh. These parties resonate with the local populace due to their deep-rooted regional identities and ideologies. The leadership style in the south tends to be more decentralized, and the voter loyalty is often long-lasting, resulting in a relatively stable political climate. But why does this matter? Well, these differences in political ideologies and practices influence the type of policies implemented, the allocation of resources, and the overall governance of the regions. For instance, the focus on regional issues in the south often leads to policies tailored to local needs, which can sometimes be at odds with the broader national policies. Similarly, the volatility in the north can lead to frequent policy changes, creating an environment of uncertainty. These political differences also manifest in the relationship between the state and central governments. While the north tends to align more closely with the central government, the south often finds itself in opposition, leading to conflicts that can hamper policy implementation and development initiatives. These political differences aren't just philosophical, they have tangible impacts on the everyday lives of citizens. As we move forward, understanding these political dynamics will be key to addressing the north-south divide and in turn shaping India's future on the global stage. The economic disparities between North and South India are as stark as their political differences. Let's start with the gross domestic product, or GDP. The southern states of India, despite having a lower population, consistently report a higher GDP compared to their northern counterparts. This indicates a higher overall economic output, suggesting a more robust, diversified economy. But what about income per person, or per capita income? Well, the story is similar. The southern states, on average, enjoy a higher per capita income. This means the average person in South India has a higher income than the average person in North India. This isn't to say there aren't pockets of wealth in the north or poverty in the south, but on average, the south comes out ahead. Now let's talk about unemployment rates. Generally, the rate of unemployment is higher in the north. This means a larger proportion of the population in the north is unable to find work compared to the south. This not only affects the quality of life for those out of work, but also has broader implications for economic growth and stability. Finally, we turn our eyes to the development indices, which are a measure of the overall well-being and standard of living. These indices consider factors like health, education, and infrastructure. Once again, South India tends to score higher, indicating a better quality of life and more developed infrastructure. So what does all this mean? It paints a picture of two very different Indias. One in the south, with a more prosperous and diverse economy, lower unemployment rates, and higher development indices. The other in the north, struggling with higher unemployment, lower income, and less developed infrastructure. These economic disparities are not just numbers on a page. They are the lived realities of millions of people. They shape opportunities, influence political views, and impact social cohesion. These economic inequalities contribute to the divide, creating a vicious cycle that is hard to break. The North-South divide isn't just about differences. It's about how these differences impact India's unity. India, a country of over 1 billion people, has always been a melting pot of diverse cultures, languages, and traditions. However, the stark political and economic disparities between the north and south of the country are not just geographical or cultural. They have profound implications for the unity of the nation. Regionalism, fueled by these disparities, is a significant concern. It's not unusual for regions to have unique identities, but when these identities are used to create divisions, it becomes a problem. The North-South divide in India is doing just that. It's fostering a sense of regionalism that's hindering national integration. The South, with its higher literacy rates and robust economy, often feels alienated from the North, where the political power is concentrated. This feeling of alienation is further amplified by the perception that the North doesn't understand or appreciate the unique challenges and strengths of the South. This divide also extends to policymaking at the national level. Policies that work in one region may not necessarily be effective in another, given the stark differences in terms of development, literacy, economy, and culture. The one-size-fits-all approach often adopted in policymaking doesn't do justice to the diverse needs of the different regions. This, in turn, can lead to dissatisfaction, resentment, and a sense of being sidelined, which can further fuel regionalism and hinder national integration. Moreover, the North-South divide can also lead to uneven development. If policies are skewed towards one region, the other may lag behind, leading to imbalances in development. This can widen the divide and exacerbate regional disparities, leading to further disunity. The divide, thus, isn't merely a regional issue, it's a national concern that requires immediate attention. A united India, where every region feels acknowledged, valued, and included, is critical for the country's progress and its aspirations as a global power. Addressing the North-South divide is not just about bridging geographical, political, and economic differences. It's about building a more inclusive, equitable, and united India. As India aspires to become a global power, the North-South divide poses a significant challenge. This divide isn't just a matter of domestic concern. It has the potential to influence India's standing on the global stage, from foreign policy to international trade and diplomacy. Let's delve deeper into this. Consider the realm of foreign policy. A united front at home can bolster a nation's image abroad, but a country divided by regional disparities can struggle to project a strong, cohesive image. For India, this could mean a weakened position when negotiating international treaties or when standing up to global superpowers. Next, let's talk about international trade. A thriving economy is a magnet for foreign investments, but in a country where the economic prosperity is unevenly distributed, things get complicated. Investors may hesitate to put their money in a nation that is grappling with internal divisions. This could potentially stifle India's economic growth and limit its ability to compete on the global economic stage. Lastly, diplomacy. Diplomacy requires a delicate balancing act and the ability to speak with one voice. But when a country is wrestling with regional disparities, it can lead to conflicting interests that make it difficult to maintain a consistent stance. This could undermine India's diplomatic efforts, making it harder for the country to form alliances and navigate the complex world of international relations. So, what does all this mean for India's global ambitions? It's clear that the North-South divide is more than just a domestic issue. It's a hurdle that India must overcome if it wants to assert itself as a global power. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. The divide between the North and South is not just a question of regional pride or economic viability. It's about the future of India on the world stage. India's global ambitions, thus, hinge on its ability to bridge this divide. The North-South divide is a complex issue, but it's not insurmountable. The road to resolution begins with acknowledging the issue. The government and the people of India must accept the existence of this divide and understand its implications. An important step forward is to foster interregional understanding. We need to break down the walls of stereotypes and misconceptions that have been built over decades. This can be achieved through education, cultural exchange programs, and media initiatives that highlight the richness and diversity of both regions. On the policy front, it's about creating a balanced and inclusive approach. The government should ensure that both regions are equally represented and their voices heard in the decision-making process. Policies should not favor one region over the other, but should aim to lift the entire country. Economic development needs to be balanced too. Investment in infrastructure, industries, and human capital should be evenly distributed to ensure sustainable growth across the nation. This could help minimize the economic disparities between the North and South. Promoting cooperation is key. Both regions need to work together, understanding that their differences are a strength rather than a weakness. It's about unity in diversity, a concept that is at the heart of India's identity. Only by acknowledging and addressing this divide can India truly unite and realize its global ambitions. So let's move forward together for a united and prosperous India.